Tonight we are talking about, we have a great group of panelists. We're talking about women in STEM preparing for a career in computer and data science. And just to give you a sense of what we're covering, when you're thinking about your future, the world that we're in and the problems that, we're gonna have to solve now and also in the future, we really do believe that women are in the forefront of that. So the question of how do you prepare for a career as a woman or a woman identifying individual interested in the STEM field is a really important question to ask. And so tonight we're going to look at it from the lens of computer and data science. Just to give you a sense of what we have here as far as the way that things are going to be going, we're going to have a presentation that lasts approximately 30 minutes, at which point we'll move into your questions. And so you'll see a Q&A box. If you do have questions, please feel free to add your questions into the Q&A box. That will be the best way for us to address those. We'll have time at the end for your questions. And I have my colleague here as well who will help with the moderating of the questions. So coming here, going into our awesome panel, and I'll have everybody introduce themselves. To begin with, I'm going to be moderating. My name is Leanna Carroll. I'm an Associate Director in Undergraduate Admission.
I'm Evren Gürkan Kavsoglu. I'm a faculty member in Electrical Computer and Systems Engineering.
Hello, everyone. I'm Harold Kanemacher. I'm faculty. I'm in computer and data sciences, and I teach some of the core courses. So if you come here, you're very likely to take a class with me.
Hi, my name is Kayla Pinto, and I am a navigator here representing the Office of Student Advancement.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mia. I am a computer science student, and I also study dance.
Anna, I don't know if we lost Anna.
Well, I'm Shelly Murphy. I graduated in 2014 with a BS in computer science. Hopefully we get Anna back. There she is.
Yes.
Hi, sorry. My internet is really bad. My name is Anna, and I'm a fifth-year student in the computer science BSMS program.
And my name is Tom Fanning. I'm one of the admissions staff members, and I'm here to support the conversation tonight. And I will be looking at the questions that people might have and put together some themes so we can answer some of the questions you might have through the course of the presentation. So looking forward to tonight.
So thank you so much. And I know that when you think about preparation, of course, the starting point is academics, right? So starting with the big question, which is what actually is computer science and data science?
Okay, thank you. So yeah, this is a question we get a lot. People ask us that about what is computer science, especially because at CASE, we also have computer engineering. And so computer engineering, you can think of it as more of, it's a way of integrating the hardware and the software into a full system. So you can think of robotics would be something that would be a computer engineering, where computer science is more of designing the software and the programs to solve a problem. And so notice I said designing and not writing the programs, because people think of computer science as sitting in front of a machine and writing programs, but it's really much more than that. Because when a company hires a computer scientist rather than hiring a computer programmer, they're trying to solve problems that haven't been done before. They're trying to push the company to new areas where the company hasn't been. So the computer scientist is expected to solve these problems where there are no known solutions, which means you have to go and you have to study the problem. You have to maybe follow the industry, see what they are doing, and then design software in order to tackle these problems. In addition, we are also looking at just how we write software to begin with. So some people in computer science are trying to design better ways to write programs. So for example, how do we make sure we can write software that doesn't have bugs? How do we make sure the software is doing what we say it's supposed to be doing? So these are a lot of things that we get into in computer science. And this is a type of thing that has applications everywhere. So you don't have to just be interested in technology. You could also be interested in areas like music, finance, government, charities, medicine, sports. You can find a connection where you can tie computer science into that. Data science is a relatively new field which has grown out of computer science and statistics, where companies and organizations, they're collecting a lot of data, and they're creating a lot of data, and they need to figure out what to do with the data. What does the data tell them? What can they learn from it? So the data scientist's job is to basically turn that data into knowledge that they can use, which means you have to have some computational skills, you have to have statistical skills, and you also have to have communication skills, because you need to be able to take the data, turn it into a story, into something that you can then tell people who are then going to use the data. So the data science, besides that, is also concerned with storing the data, using the data. So for example, I mean, with the virus that we're dealing with now, how do you deal with healthcare data? How can we share healthcare data between doctors so doctors and scientists working in the world can access it, but bad actors who want to steal the data to steal identities can't? These are the types of things that data scientists are interested in. And just like computer science, you can apply this to almost any field these days. So if you have a lot of different outside interests, you can probably find a way that you can get computer science or data science to sort of tie into that. And that brings us to what you will study. So on this next slide, you'll see the sort of typical first year course load that our students will take here. So if you notice, you'll see everyone's going to be taking calculus, and that's because there's a lot of mathematics that's involved in both computer science and in data science. So also you'll see that we're assuming pretty much everyone coming in is going to be taking the Introduction to Java course. If you have AP credit for this course or IB credit for the course, you can choose to test out of it if you do well on the course. But even if you have AP credits, sometimes you might want to consider just retaking the course, because this course does go beyond what a normal AP class does, especially this year, because I know a lot of you have been interrupted in your studies, and so your AP classes may not cover quite as much as they normally would. But this class assumes that people coming in haven't taken computer science before, and we will get you up to speed really quickly. So even if you have no experience at all, that's wonderful. Just come, you can, in this class, by the time you get to midterms, you will really be up to speed with the other people who've come in having programmed before. So we really encourage people who've never coded before to jump in. So then the other thing you'll notice on here is that we have both the Bachelor of Arts and a Bachelor of Science program. And so these are different paths that you can take through the curriculum. And so the Bachelor of Arts is where you're going to be taking a large number of courses from outside of computer science. And in a Bachelor of Science, you're going to be supplementing the computer science with courses in the natural sciences, in engineering, and more mathematics. And the data science is also a Bachelor of Science. You'll be doing a lot more of engineering and mathematics in the data science as well. So these are really just two different ways to go through the curriculum. Both degrees, the Bachelor of Arts and the Bachelor of Science, have the same core of computer science that you're studying. The question is, what's the supplemental material that you're taking? In the Bachelor of Science, your supplemental material is going to be more areas of engineering, science, and computer science. In the Bachelor of Arts, your supplemental classes you'll be taking will be from other fields. One question I get a lot is, does it matter when it comes time to getting a job or applying for graduate school if I have a Bachelor of Science or a Bachelor of Arts? And the truth is, it really doesn't matter, because companies and graduate schools don't care what degree you have, they care what you can do. So if you have a Bachelor of Science, you have taken a lot of computer science, and so you know a lot of different areas in the computer science where you can contribute to a company. But if you have a Bachelor of Arts, you've studied other fields and you have cross-discipline critical thinking skills, which will allow you to take on different roles in a company, and it'll allow you to do interdiscipline work if you go to graduate school. So really, it's just finding the path that's right for you, and you can sort of blend between them. Some students do a Bachelor of Arts, but take a little extra science too, because they want something halfway in between. So it's finding the right thing for you. And one thing that's nice about CASE is that you're not tied to any one program. Some schools, if you start in one program and then you want to switch to another, you have to reapply. Here, you can change your major, you can change your degree between Bachelor of Science and Bachelor of Arts anytime. So you can start down one path. If you decide it's not right for you, you can switch to the other.
Thank you so much, Harold. I mean, I think this is really useful to think of, oh, my mouse, I love my mouse. You know, I think it's really useful to think about that basis of knowledge that you're going to be gaining at Case Western Reserve, and thinking about building upon that academic side, you know, goes into the community. You know, what kind of support are you going to find? What kind of skills are you going to develop at the institution, at the community that you build around you?
Hello again. My name is Kayla Pinto. Again, I serve as a navigator here, and I want to speak to you just briefly about some of our campus-wide resources available to you. So first, speaking in my own role as a navigator, we serve essentially as student success coaches to our undergraduate students. We follow you throughout your entire college journey. We promote academic success, campus and community engagement, experiential education, wellness and development, and postgraduate planning. We also connect students to other areas of campus, whether it be to faculty, other students, and services on campus that can really maximize your unique experience. Our overall mission is to help you find your way here. I also want to speak to some other additional valued student resources, our peer tutors and peer advisors. Peer tutors are crew students who are trained to work with you on an individual or small group basis. They are campus-wide and they have taken the classes that you're in, so they're really able to understand your unique challenges and support your success. Students can schedule up to 5 tutoring appointments per week, and they're all free of charge. Additionally, our peer advisors come from the Case School of Engineering, and they provide guidance on anything from course planning and requirements, undergraduate research, post-graduation planning, campus experiences and involvement, as well as other resources. Peer advisors are fantastic because they offer you the student perspective side of things. And what's really lovely about this time that we're in is all of these support services have been able to be available remotely to our students right now.
Hello again, this is Evren Kozoglu. I will talk about the different student groups on campus that will also, provide you different opportunities to, be part of the CASE community, and especially the community intake. So the first one is the WISER, which is the Women in Science and Engineering Roundtable. This group actually is promoting inclusion and success of women in STEM through their activities in leadership, mentorship, and outreach. The other group is the Association for Computing Machinery Student Chapter. So the ACM is the largest computing society. It's a professional society, and we have a very active student chapter in our department. And the other group that is really close to my heart is the Women in Tech, because I'm the faculty director for Women in Tech initiative on campus. That is a recent initiative that was started by a gift from one of our alumni. And our goal is to support and educate the next generation of the leaders in tech. So we want to see more women in leadership positions in tech. So in order to do that, we are providing or giving our students with an access to a strong and supportive community of their peers, and also of different mentors from both peers and industry. Along those lines, what we have is we have some learning opportunities, such as a professional development program that we launched this semester. We organize different events to build a strong community of peers, and you get to also, network with your faculty, as well as with industry partners and our alumni from industry. So we provide different networking opportunities along that line. So it is a very active group. And, if you join us, I hope to see you, part of us.
Thank you, Kayla and Evren. So, I think what this points to is really when you're thinking about preparing for that future in STEM, the support that you're going to find at your community, your campus, is going to be really, really important. And vital to kind of your success later on. And I think when you think also about extending that, right, going beyond just your university community, but going, in the larger sense, and Evren, you can continue on how that, can connect with the skills and the learning process.
Sure. We have different opportunities to basically do some community outreach, so to give back to the community. And there are wonderful programs on campus, one of which is the Girls Who Code. And this is basically a national, organization that aims to close the gender gap in the technology world. So what we do, this is a basically student-run organization on campus. And I'm just their faculty advisor, just to help with the, administrative things. But it's mainly the students who are doing a great job since last spring. And what they do is they reach out to the local high schools, and they recruit students to these classes, and they teach coding to the high school students. Another activity that we participate at CASE is the first robotics. So you can actually participate in different roles, like you can be the judges, you can be the mentors in that program. And in high school, maybe you're also part of it. So you have already heard about it. The other program that you can actually be part of to do the community outreach is the Teals Program. This is where you partner with the CS teachers in high schools to help them develop their curriculum. You also get to help their students to learn CS related topics. And as students, if you would like to be involved in on-campus activities, we also have a wide variety of things. We just listed a couple of them that are closely related to tech here, but there are, again, tons of activities that we couldn't fit on the slide. So there is a robotics club that you can be part of, and it's a very active club. And there's the CASE Rocket team. And then this year, our team was also really good at this competitive programming contest. So it is the International Collegiate Programming Contest that our students actually form the team, and Professor Konemaker is their advisor. And then they go and then they compete in programming.
Thank you, everyone. I think that this shows you the, how we've talked about the academics, connecting with your own support at your community, the resources that you have available to you, and then pushing that outwards. And then we want to think about, what kind of other opportunities that you can connect with as well.
Hi, this is Harold Konemaker again. So we'll just talk about a few of the opportunities on here. There's a lot of things listed, and there's a lot of things that we offer at the school. And so one of those, there's a lot of opportunities for networking, both within the school and further onward. So there's a lot of student groups that Professor Kavasoglu mentioned earlier. And these are a great chance to talk with people who are like upper class students, find out, for example, how are they getting through the material? How did they find their internships? This is a wonderful opportunity because we have alumni who are out in most companies that you can think of. We have alumni there, so it's a chance to network. We also have networking opportunities where you can go to nationally. So one of them, as you see in the center of the slide, is the Grace Hopper Celebration of Women in Computing. This is a national conference. It's not just for women, but it's primarily to support women, and students who go there say it's a sort of a life-changing experience because there's wonderful talks there. It's a chance to network with lots of companies. And so we send as many students as we can each year to this, just to help them network just beyond CASE itself, getting out into the regular community to see what is just out there nationally in computer science. So other opportunities we have is study abroad is a very popular one as well. You can definitely study abroad if you're doing either computer science or data science. It just helps to work with your advisor before you go abroad just to make sure the classes line up. But we have a lot of programs where the courses are pre-approved that you can take the course abroad, and it counts to a CASE course coming back here. A couple others I want to mention on this is one of them is internships and co-ops. Most of our students will do an internship at some time. There are internships for first-year students, as well as the typical internships that people get from their sophomore or their junior year. A lot of students will go off to many of the larger West Coast companies, as well as we have a lot of companies in the Cleveland area that are hiring our students. The co-op experience you may not have heard of before. This is a chance where you can actually pause your education for one semester and work full-time at a company. We have a lot of companies in the Cleveland area who are hiring our students, and this is a wonderful chance just to sort of get to see what it's like to work full-time. And then when you come back for your senior year, the courses you take really seem to make sense. The co-op is very popular amongst the engineering students. Computer science is a little less. Our computer science students tend to do more on the internships, but it's sort of that's just sort of the fad of the way our students are going right now. The last one I want to mention on this is research. And so we are a research university, but we're also a small university. So that means you have a chance to sort of get to know your faculty members. But you can see here the list of the research areas that we specialize in. So we cover a large area of computer science, but we are a small university, so we're going to be specialized in certain areas. For myself, I'll just mention a little bit. I work in both the algorithms and theory and the artificial intelligence and machine learning group. I have 5 undergraduates who are working in my research group right now. Now, one cool project I'm working on is learning how to better rank data. So if you think of when you do a Google search or a Bing search, the answers come back. How do you decide what goes first, what goes second, what goes third? And I had an undergraduate and a master's student working on this, and we found that the technique that people were using to rank it was actually not mathematically rigorous. And so we came up with mathematical proofs for how you best measure ranking, and we were able to outperform the current algorithms for the ranking. So this was really exciting for an undergraduate student to get a paper like this and was able to present it. And also in ranking, I have a student who's an undergraduate, and she just finished up. She was doing both the bachelor's and the master's degree, which is a program where you can combine both of them. She was looking at ranking as well, but from the point of view of bias, because we have there's a lot of issues of discrimination in our data. How do we make sure our machine learning algorithms aren't magnifying the discrimination, but instead we can get them so they're better than us rather than sort of, dealing with the worst of what humans have. So she was doing a lot of work in trying to define, how do you measure bias so we can come up with algorithms that defeat that. So that's just a couple ideas of things that I'm working on. So I'm going to pass it off to Evren Cavasoglu so she can mention a little bit of what she does.
Thank you, Harold. So my group actually works on using the computational methods to understand biological processes. So I work in the field of computational biology. What we're looking at is using the computational methods to understand how complex diseases develop. And we concentrated on cancer. And of course, cancer is a very large area. So we actually pick a couple of different cancer types to focus on the research. And we also use the models that we develop to understand how they progress. More importantly, how we can use these computational models to design personalized treatments that are optimized so that we get the most treatment efficacy out of these mathematical models.
So, you heard already, thinking again about that preparation and bringing it back. We talked about the academics and kind of the curriculum that you might see and the opportunities that you might have, then connecting it with the support that you have on your campus. At Case Western Reserve, we offer so much. The community that you center yourself around, the larger support and networking that you're able to connect with, and then with professors like our professors here on this panel, connecting to really cool research that's happening. I think those are all keys to a future in the field. And so I think this is a great place to talk and hear from our students here tonight. And so if they will start, we'll have Mia introduce again, just tell us a little bit about what your experiences have been.
All right, hello everyone. So just to tell you a little bit about my student experience, I am currently a 5th year undergraduate, double majoring in computer science and dance. When I entered college, I wasn't planning on studying computer science and I had never programmed before. And I actually never took a computer science class until the first semester of my junior year. But dance is something that I've done all my life, and studying that just wasn't even a question for me. But something that inspired me to branch out into computer science was that the dance department at Case incorporates a lot of technology into the performances. So just being a part of the dance department gave me a lot of exposure to that. And a cool example I have is that there was a concert one semester where everybody in the audience was given Microsoft HoloLenses, and they were able to see the dancers on stage interact and move around with holograms. So I thought that was really cool. And I just wanted to get a better understanding of how cool things like that were possible in dance performances. So I took a couple of computer science classes during my junior year, and I eventually declared a major at the end of my junior year. And I ended up going with a BA in computer science instead of the BS. I think that a BA is a great option for people who are planning on doing double majors. And also it was, I added this major towards the end of college. So the BA is less requirements, and that just made sense. So after that, I became really interested in gaining work experience, like an internship. So I thought that the Career Center provided a lot of really great resources to me while I was doing that. They have a lot of networking events for students, and they have interview prep sessions and resume review sessions. So I took advantage of all of that, and I was able to get a software engineering co-op with Rockwell Automation. And this was during June of 2019 to December of 2019. So I thought that that experience was really valuable to me. I was able to learn a ton and get a lot of great mentorship during that experience. And something else that was really great about that co-op is that being back in classes now and applying everything that I learned during my co-op into my classes has been really great. Some organizations that I've been a part of at CASE are Girls Who Code and the Women in Tech organization. And those have been really, really great things to be a part of. And they provided me with a great community of people, specifically women who are also studying computer science. And to close, I've recently accepted a job with M&T Bank in their technology development program. It's a 2-year rotational program, and I was able to get this job again through the Career Center. I think that they provide a lot of support for students, and they've been able to help a lot of students get jobs. So yeah, I'm really happy that I switched into computer science, and I think it's just opened up a ton of doors for my future.
Thank you, Mia. And congrats on the job. That's awesome.
Thanks.
Anna? Did we lose Anna? Maybe.
Hi, sorry, I was muted.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Anna, and I just want to apologize. My internet has been truly terrible, so if I do drop, please just be patient with me. But I'm a 5th-year computer science student in the integrated BS-MS program. I'm about to finish my thesis very, very soon, so I'm really excited to graduate. But a little bit about my background. So when I initially came to Case Western, I was a mechanical engineering major, and I didn't really think about studying computer science until the summer after my freshman year. And I actually struggled a lot initially with the material because I felt behind, especially in some of the classes that I started taking after I decided to switch, like data structures. It just seemed like there was a really big difference between what I knew and what some of the other people in the classes knew. But I was really lucky to be part of a lot of really cool clubs at CASE, and I think those were some of the ones that were mentioned. I was part of the Robotics and Rocket Team Club, as well as the Hacker Society. And I think that because of the people I met through those organizations, it gave me more confidence, and they also shared with me a ton of resources and helped me kind of catch up on all the material that I needed. So then when I was trying to look for an internship, I ended up doing the co-op program with Philips my junior year, which was an amazing experience. It was the first time I ever worked as a software engineer, and it kind of gave me an insight what it would be like to work, you know, in this field post-college. However, I really wanted to kind of get a job on the West Coast. And I know that's been mentioned here like very briefly, but during my fall of 2017, I ended up going to the Grace Hopper celebration. So that was during my junior year. And to all the women attendees and listeners, I would really recommend going to this conference. It's this massive conference of 18,000 women from all around the world. It has some amazing speakers, such as Melinda Gates. And it's a really great opportunity to connect with a lot of cool companies. Like there were, I think, over 500 companies from all around the world trying to recruit specifically women. And I got a chance there to talk to Apple, and I ended up doing an internship with them summer 2018, designing robots to test iPhone and iPads, which was a really, really cool experience. And then the following summer, I switched into a totally different thing, and I was doing security analysis and investigation for them, which actually included even me going to a massive security conference in Las Vegas. So that was a really, really interesting job. And I ended up interviewing and signing on with them for a full-time role. But in terms of some other stuff that I tried at Case, I was doing research for the past 5 years. Actually, like my freshman year, I worked into a research lab, and I just told them that I really want to work there because I loved the robots that they had on display. So I've been there for the past 5 years.
I think we just lost Anna. Hopefully she'll come back. But in the meantime, when you think about the current students, it's so cool to hear all that you have been able to take advantage of, the opportunity.
Hi.
Are you back, Anna?
I'm back, sorry.
That's okay.
Where did I drop?
You were telling us about your experience.
Work experience. I was also talking about the BSMS program. I don't know if it dropped during
No,
that.
no. Right at the end.
Right at the end of BSMS.
No, your work experience.
Oh, my work experience. Okay. So I also did some other stuff at Case. So I was really involved in research for the past 5 years. And that's the lab I'm currently finishing my thesis in. It's the biologically inspired robotics lab at Case. And I actually remember walking in there during my freshman year and telling them that I would love to work with them just because their robots look really, really cool. And honestly, like for a lot of professors, that's enough to just, be willing to take you in and like mentor you. So I've had a fantastic experience there, and I really grew as an engineer and researcher. I also did study abroad for 1 week. So I don't really have like the entire semester experience, but I ended up going to Jordan, which was an amazing trip. I would really recommend everybody do. And I think that's everything. I don't know when it dropped, but I mentioned that I'll be starting with Apple for their rotational program in July. So I can also answer kind of the transition to a full-time job and interviewing it if anybody wants to know. But yeah, thank you so much. Sorry about my bad internet.
That's okay. I think we're all dealing with that a little bit right now. That's what happens when the whole world is using.
Yeah.
I wanted to highlight, you guys, your future is so exciting and bright. I think about all the things that you've already mentioned: studying abroad, doing co-op, Grace Hopper, the kind of networking, the research. I think you both really show how much there is in this field, which kind of takes us to, where the future is. And Harold, you're going to talk a little bit about, what that bright future looks like.
Yeah, this is just a great time to be in computer science or data science. The job growth is much higher in this industry than other industries. We went through the last recession where computer science was one of the industries that wasn't hurt. Currently, with this current recession, computer science, we're able to work remotely. So again, we're one of the industries that there still is demand, even with the rest of the economy struggling. But of course, one thing I do want to point out is that we have no way of predicting the future. Things are really good right now for us, but there's been recessions in the past. So one thing that is important is make sure you find an area that you love. as you're going through college. So that way it becomes less tedious to sort of live through the recessions and to fight through them and get ready for when things get good again. But right now, as the slide shows, it shows you where the computer science is up at the top. It's a good time. And the previous slide, which just skipped past real fast, was just a list of a bunch of different, there we go. It's a bunch of different degrees, and you can see the starting salaries are very high for these. Our students tend to get very high salaries coming out of here. But again, this shouldn't be the sole reason that you choose this area. But if you do choose to be in computer science or data science, right now the demand is very high.
Yeah, and I think that's, looking at this area and the different opportunities that there are for the future, I think it's a great place to end with our alum, Shelly. When you think about, you've been through the whole thing. I also like the fact that you're following Harold, because I do believe that you were a student of Harold's, not to put you out there, but
my computer science path was sort of similar to me and Anna's. I came in not knowing that computer science was even a choice. I thought that I was going to be a chemical engineer, and I took a programming class my second semester and was amazed that you could actually do this for a job. It was just solving puzzles, but like professionally, and that was really cool to me. And that was 10 years ago. Gosh, time flies. But now I'm at I work for IBM Watson Health. We do a lot of analytics over healthcare data. So I'm on the platform engineer for a platform that will basically do lots of big data analysis over all of we actually work with the Cleveland Clinic, which is here in Cleveland. And we get to help develop systems that will help doctors understand what patients you need to focus on more and things like that. We get to focus on moving our solutions into the cloud from where they are on bare metal right now. And we've also been able to do lots of things with interesting new technologies, because we're lucky enough to have the free bandwidth to research these extra things. And I'm always just really grateful that I got to take such a fun intro to Java class, because I'm not sure that I would have seen this as a possibility otherwise, because it just seemed so unlikely from where I was coming from. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, Shelly. And I think that when you're thinking about a future and a career as a woman in a STEM field, and specifically in particular computer science and data science, and I guess this is to open up the questions for everybody, and I'll put us all on a gallery view maybe, so we all see each other. Let's see, I think that I just did it. I guess the first question, and then I'll open it up to Tom to see what we have out there, is for my women who've been through this process. When you think about being an underrepresented individual in a field that still is dominated by men, what has been how have you dealt with it, right? How did you find the resources? How did you get through it? And I guess I'll start with Shelly.
I think I've been incredibly lucky in my own career. My manager is a woman. The team that I work on are incredibly accepting. I also think that we are lucky to be in a newer industry. With people that are younger generally, because people that are more willing to accept new things. I've got quite a few friends that are in non-computer science engineering, and it does not sound like it is as easy, to be blunt. And I think that is one of the really awesome things about computer science. I also think there's always women in an office, no matter how often you hear that there are fewer women or that women are underrepresented, there will always be women in office. They might just not be in the places that you expect. And sometimes finding your support there has been really helpful for me.
Everin, what was your experience?
I think I have a similar experience as Shelly. We were not that many in a room, but there was always, someone that you can talk to to have a mentor of. And I was also lucky my PhD professor was a woman, and back then my department chair was also a woman. So so it's not as rare as we think. Of course, the parity is not there, unfortunately, so it's not 50%, but it's getting much better. So the younger generations, I think, will have a better percentage when they go out in the workplace. And we're actually working on it. There's a lot of awareness that without the women or without different opinions in the workplace, we won't succeed. So companies are actually aware of that. So we're putting a lot of emphasis on diversity to bring in fresh and new ideas to the workplace. So the future is bright in that sense. I'm very hopeful.
That's awesome. And to people who are in the thick of it, Mia and Anna, if you have anything to add, what you've kind of noticed, coming into this field now.
Well, for me, so at school, what's helped me is just joining student organizations that are focused on this kind of stuff. Like some of the organizations that I mentioned, Girls Who Code, Women in Tech, those have helped me build a community of people who are all going through similar issues that I can talk to. And during my co-op, I was on a team with 10 software engineers that were all males over 30. So there was obviously, a lot of differences between me and the people who I was working closely with every day. But I was in a lucky position where the women who were in the office, they were really, they reached out to me and they said, hey, if you ever need any help, just like come up to us and we can help explain things to you. Or if you ever, just need help finding your way with anything, we'll be here to support you. So I think finding women in the office is a great thing, a great piece of advice.
Anna, I felt like you wanted to jump in there too. Hold on, you're muted. Oh, there you go. I think you might come back in just a second. In the meantime, when Anna comes back on, Tom, do you have some general kind of questions for us, or?
I certainly do. There are a lot of great questions out there if you've had a chance to glance at the question area. And I kind of grouped them into different categories here. There's a few questions about the kind of preparation students should be considering in high school to head into these fields in college.
Okay.
So specifically, one of the questions was about whether or not one should take AP Calc or AP Computer Science. So from the faculty member perspective, what would be the best preparation for the kind of work that you would do at Case Western Reserve University?
I'll jump in on that one. Really, you really want to push your math skills because math is really the core of all of this. It's more important, I think, getting your math skills up than necessarily getting your programming skills. If you do programming, that's wonderful, but it's certainly not required for you to have programmed before, as you see from some of our students who didn't program before they came to college and now they're doing great. But certainly, yes, if you can take more math, do it, because it really is the foundation for all of these areas.
Wonderful. We also had a whole set of questions that I would categorize under curriculum and content of the classes. So I might just run through a few of these things, and if people want to jump in and answer them. But students were asking how much coding is involved in data sciences. Can math and data science, can you double major in the areas? Do all majors need to take physics and chemistry in the first year? So those are the kinds of questions. Can maybe people touch on some of those items that we had in the question box?
Okay, I'll jump in on those again. So there is a lot of coding in our data science because our data science is really built around applications. So we have sort of a computer science heavy data science compared to some other institutions. Yes, you can double major in mathematics and data science because there's a lot of courses that will count for both of those. It depends if you're going to do a Bachelor of Arts or a Bachelor of Science in mathematics because we have both tracks. And then do you need to take physics and chemistry in the first year? If you are a Bachelor of Science, you need to take physics and chemistry before you graduate. It's recommended you do it early on, though it's not required you have to do it in the first year. A Bachelor of Arts does not have to. They do have a science distribution requirement, but there is not specifics that you have to take physics or chemistry.
And then there was an interesting question about what exactly is entailed in research in computer science. Great question for non-computer science person myself.
Well, there's different kinds of research you can do. I mean, there's research using programming, and then there's research that's actually into the computer science itself. So computer scientists, we're really trying to solve new problems that haven't been done before. So I gave an example of my research, which was we were looking into machine learning algorithms and trying to improve the machine learning algorithms. We're trying to improve our techniques. People are also trying to improve how we design software. Then there's also, if you get into, you can do research where you're using your computer science in other fields. So if you can get into, say, biomedical engineering, or you can go to the medical school, you can go to material sciences where they do smart houses. You can do Internet of Things where they need people to collect data and they need people to write software for things like prosthetic limbs. So that's where you're using your computer science to support research in other fields. So we have both options available.
So we had quite a few questions about concern about the number of women in STEM fields, and through the course of your introductions, the students and our panelists talked about some of their experiences. But one of the questions stuck out to me, and can we talk about, and maybe we've already mentioned them, but initiatives at Case Western Reserve that encourage women in STEM that might set Case Western Reserve apart from some of the competitor schools? Not that we're asking to compare to other schools, but are there things that stick out in your mind that helped you along your paths for any of the panelists?
Everin, you want to take that?
Right. I will jump in, and then our students might chime in about how we help them maybe connect with with their peers and all that, or what we did differently than maybe other schools. So as I mentioned, we have a recent initiative, the Women in Tech initiative, that's exactly tailored to meet the needs of our women identifying students in terms of making them feel at home at computer science. And we are how we're different in case is both between me and Harold. I think we teach all the computer science students, and we know them. We know almost every one of them by name, and that actually gives us an advantage of. And we teach like I think between Harold and me, we reached more than 1,000 students, but we still remember every one of them by name and where they work and all that. So this gives us a unique advantage of connecting our students with the right person or with the right mentor. When if student comes up to us, to me within the Women in Tech initiative perspective, or to Harold and me as professors, we can connect them with the right person to answer their questions, or to find them good internship opportunities, or if they have a job related question, we always know the right person. So that gives us the advantage over maybe other larger schools that you don't have this kind of networking connections. The other thing that we do is we have very close ties with also the management school. So we were able to design this professional development scholars program for our students, which actually was launched this semester. And they're just graduating through that program next week. They have their last sessions tomorrow. And that program was designed to give you a chance to design your career. So that's basically was a workshop type of a program for our students in addition to their academics, their classes. Through this program, they learned how to vision their career for the next 5 years. They learned how to negotiate, how to navigate difficult situations as a woman in a male-dominated world. So these type of programs are pretty unique, and we were able to do it at Case together with the Weatherhead School. So I think these are advantageous programs that we have at Case to help you navigate your career in a tech world.
That's awesome. And Anna, I know that you dropped off before, so I'd definitely love for you to connect now or to our earlier question about just being an underrepresented woman in the STEM field and what your experience has been, and kind of touch on your experience at Case Western Reserve.
Yeah, definitely. So like from my notice for the question, people were mainly concerned about like what the contrast is between like the male engineers and the female engineers, and if it's like tough for the female engineers to fit in. So I would definitely say at Case, I didn't really see like, anybody taking a preference over a male student versus me. And I would definitely say that I got much closer with the female classmates because there was so much support and so much community, and it was forcing us to help each other and work together than like I've noticed like when I was in high school. And that's something that I really enjoyed and appreciated. And organization and events like the Grace Hopper celebration makes you feel even more like encouraged and welcome to this like community that's like pushing you to really succeed. I would say I definitely had some bad experiences when it came to this situation, especially when I was working at my co-op, just because I was also the only female in like, 30-plus-year-old engineers, and that was much tougher. But when I was working at Apple, I had absolutely no problem. And I would say that they also had very big initiatives to make sure that they were trying to balance the number of female and male engineers, and they made big strides and efforts. So I would actually say on the contrary, like being a woman in tech, I think in a lot of ways, there's a lot of different organizations and resources that are trying to make sure that you have the best experience possible. Even though there's definitely downsides, but I can say that I felt so supported like never before.
And Shelly, I'm curious because you've had the experience now quite a long time outside of graduating from the university. When you look back at your experience at Case Western Reserve and you're thinking about this particular question, what was it about being a Case Western Reserve student going through the program that you felt really kind of helped you in your work or in what you've been doing now?
I've got to. I think that I'm always very much influenced by my environment. So the people that were around me, I was always so lucky. The people that I would study with, people that were teaching, everybody was just so smart. And when you're around so many smart people, it's much easier to learn. And that's something that I found. I never found that when I was at Case, I had any problems with being the only girl. There was one class I took in my entire 4 years that I was the only girl in the room. And I wasn't good at that class, but I don't think that had to do with, I don't think that was the gender ratio's fault. But yeah, I think that Case did a very good job of making it a non-issue while you were on campus, which makes it something that you have to almost make yourself worry about when you leave for the first time, like you're leaving your bubble.
Tom, other kind of questions out there?
Yeah, so we had a number of students asked about the possibilities to study abroad, and I think Anna might have talked about her opportunity to study abroad. But does anybody else have international experiences, and is it a possibility while studying in the very rigorous curriculum in computer science? So does anybody have any commentary on opportunities to study abroad?
I know I studied abroad for a week while I was at Case. It fit in very easily. It was over spring break. It was a lot of fun. I also, one of the internships I did abroad, and that was a very interesting and exciting thing. I also think that I was in a unique situation, so I'm not sure if that's something that would be easy for most students to do, but it broadened my horizons in a way that I wouldn't have expected to otherwise.
I think what's really nice about our education abroad program is that you have a lot of variety and options. So we are we do have an engineering consortium for studying abroad, so you could still do that semester. But I love the fact that, Shelly, you talked about your week experience. Anna, you had a faculty-led abroad experience, which are when you think about trying to fit in the curriculum and do everything that you want to do as a student, and I'm sure that there's going to be a lot. There's different ways to make sure that you can have these other type of experiences. And so what I always tell students is, talk to your professors, go early to the Education Abroad office. They are wonderful about setting up a plan for you as a student and thinking about how that fits. Kayla, you can talk about the Navigator, where we have that name in our mouths all the time because you're kind of the go-to individual. So how have you connected students who come to you?
Sure. So I think that, as I mentioned earlier, we work with you throughout your entire collegiate journey. So we start with having conversations with you over the summer via phone or via video. So our goal is to get to know each of our students individually. There's 18 of us in the Navigator role, and we each have a cohort of students that we serve and, like I said, follow you through every year. So what's really good about that is the consistency of that relationship, and we're able to really get to know you as not just you as a computer science major or you as this interest or a student athlete, but we get to know you really holistically and are able to get you connected to the different areas of campus that interest you most so that you can meet the goals that you have set and that you can grow in the ways that you want to grow and so that you can get the experiences that you want to get out of college. A lot of what we do is that connection piece. So as a navigator, I might find out that you have an interest in study abroad, but I'm going to ask you questions about other things that you want to accomplish and other things that you're interested to help you kind of figure out when would be the best time to do that or what type of opportunity you want. And then I would get you connected with one of my colleagues in the Education Abroad office and prepare you so that going into that what that conversation is going to look like so that you feel best prepared and knowing what kind of opportunities there are.
So I think we're getting to kind of the end of this conversation tonight, but I really wanted to make sure to end with everybody being able to give just a little nugget. I always love to leave these things with a nugget for people who are listening, for our attendees. You think about the whole conversation has been about preparing for being a woman in, or someone who identifies as a woman in a STEM field. That it is an underrepresented field. And so when you think about giving a little nugget, giving a little piece of advice for future individuals going into this field, what would that advice be in particular for being a woman in this field? And I'm going to go I think around my screen here, so I might just call call out your name who's in this field. So Everin, if you want to start.
My advice would be, if you come to Case Campus, be engaged in the groups that we have mentioned early on, because there are a lot of great resources. And the other thing is, STEM is for everyone, so don't believe if someone says otherwise.
I love that. Harold?
I agree with that. STEM is for everyone. So we need as big a diverse group as we can, because the problems we have to solve are so huge. We just can't rely on a small group to do it. And I would say the nugget of advice is, as you're looking for schools, you want to find a place that has the community that you want to be part of, because every school has similar classes, but it's really the students who are around you that's going to make the difference. And you can see that our students is one of our real strengths here. Their students are very active and they get involved, and it's a wonderful thing. So if that's the group you want to be in, come and give it a visit.
Thank you. Kayla, you have any?
Sure. I think my advice would be to persist and to follow through with your passions and persist forward. What came to mind was a first-year student, female, that I was working with this year, and she was very interested in computer science, but didn't come with that experience. And as Harold was speaking to earlier, you don't need to have that programming experience to be successful. And in her first semester, she expressed a lot of concern about, this field really interests me, but I just don't know if I can do it. And she persisted. I got her connected actually with Everin, and they talked more about the opportunities within the major and the support, and she encouraged her. And now the student is finishing up her second semester. She is 100% in with computer science. She's doing really well, and just seeing her confidence grow because she persisted through that initial struggle and challenges. It gives me a lot of hope that we have the right support here at Case for students, especially those that might come in and not have that experience or that confidence right away, but you'll definitely build it and you can definitely be successful.
Thanks. Shelly?
I would say that no one ever knows everything, and that questions are your most valuable tool in most situations, but particularly a hard sort of line of study like this. Your professors are a very valuable resource. Your coworkers, everyone around you, ask questions.
Mia?
I would say that you don't have to lose sight of your side interests. So for me, studying dance and studying computer science, I have been able to find ways that the two disciplines are related. So yeah, I think that just kind of echoes with everyone saying STEM is for everyone.
And then Anna.
Okay, hopefully my internet doesn't drop, but I would say just don't give up on it, even if you keep failing. Like at one point I was looking for jobs. I applied for over 100 and got rejection emails every day. I would wake up to an inbox full of rejections, and I still kept going, still pushed through. It was very stick with it. And
Just a little bit.
That helped me.
I think we lost you just at the end there. I think as just a final words, what I heard from all of you, which was so similar, I love kind of these last nuggets for our attendees, thinking about persisting, thinking about utilizing your mentors, thinking about all the support that you have, and then kind of those final words that I heard a lot of you say is STEM is for everyone, and I think that's a really great place to kind of end tonight's conversation, which is, women are the future, especially in these fields, and absolutely STEM is for everyone. So have a wonderful evening or morning or afternoon, wherever you are at in the world. If you have any follow-up questions for us, we know we didn't get to everybody, please feel free to reach out to us. We can certainly direct you to the panelists and myself. My email is leanna@case.edu, and I can put that in the chat box. But thank you very much. Thank you for your time, and have a great day, evening, night.